Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to learn something that's, really simple, but also super useful: how to describe a room in English. And believe me, by the end of this, you'll feel totally ready to talk about your own room, your house, or really any place you see. So, just for a second, I want you to take a look at the room you're in right now. Or maybe you can think of a picture of a room. How would you even start describing it? What words pop into your head? Well, let's find out the absolute easiest way to do it. So here's what we're going to do today. We'll start with the basics of describing a room. Then we'll look at the positive forms: there is and there are. After that, the negative: there isn't and there aren't. Then, of course, how to ask questions. We'll also cover how to say where things are using prepositions. And finally, we'll practice it all together. It's going to be great. Okay, let's begin. To describe any place, you really only need to answer two simple questions. First, what is in the room? And second, where is it? That's it. And to answer that first question, what is in a room, we use these two magic phrases: there is and there are. These are the words we use to introduce something, to say that it exists. Seriously, these are going to be your new best friends for describing things. All right, so let's start with a positive. How do we say that something is in a room? This is where we learn the first and, honestly, the most important rule. And the rule is so simple. If you're talking about just one thing, you say there is. But if you're talking about two things, or three, or 100 things, you say there are. Just remember, one thing, you use is. More than one, you use are. Easy, right? Let's just look at the structure for a second. So for one thing, we say there is a. For example, there is a big sofa. For more than one, we say there are, like in there are 3 bedrooms. Let's check out a few more examples. Okay, listen carefully now. There is a big sofa. And you might also hear there's a mirror, which is just the short conversational way of saying there is. Now for the plural ones: there are 3 bedrooms, or there are some books. You can really hear that difference, can't you? Is for one, are for many. Great, so now we know how to say what is in a room. But what if something is not there? Well, let's look at the negative form. And guess what? It's just as easy. It's so simple. We just add not. So there is becomes there isn't, and there are becomes there aren't. Now, one important thing to notice is that with plural negative sentences, we often use the word any. For example, there aren't any pictures. Okay, let's practice hearing these. For just one thing, there isn't a dishwasher, or there isn't a lift. And for many things, there aren't any curtains, or there aren't any plants. See? It's the exact same simple rule. Okay, you're doing an amazing job. We know how to make positive sentences and negative sentences. So how do we ask a question? Well, this is super simple. We just switch the order of the first 2 words. So instead of saying, there is a balcony, we just flip it and ask, is there a balcony? Same thing for plural. Instead of, there are some windows, we ask, are there any windows? See? We just swapped the words. And notice again, we use any for those plural questions too. And you know what? Answering these questions is incredibly easy. If someone asks, is there a balcony? You can just say, yes, there is, or no, there isn't. If they ask, are there any windows? You can say, yes, there are, or no, there aren't. Simple as that. Fantastic. Okay, so we know what is in a room. But remember that second question we had at the beginning? Where is it? Well, to answer this, we need to use some small but really important words. We call them prepositions. Let's go through these together. In, the milk is in the fridge. On, the keys are on the table. Under, the cat is under the bed. Next to, the lamp is next to the sofa. Between, the table is between 2 chairs. In front of, there's a rug in front of the fireplace. And finally, behind, the garden is behind the house. These little words are what give us the exact location of things. Phew! Okay, that was a lot of information, I know, but you have done an amazing job keeping up. So now it's time to put all of this together and do some practice. Are you ready? Let's give it a try. All right, let's try to complete this first sentence. It says, blank a lamp on the desk. Think about it. A lamp. Is that one thing or is it many? What do you think the correct phrase is? I'll give you a second to think. Did you get it? The answer is, there is a lamp on the desk. That's because a lamp is just one thing. It's singular. Great job. Okay, let's try one more. Now this one is a question. Are any pictures on the wall? Take a look at that word pictures. Is that singular or plural? And how do we start a question when we're talking about plural things? That's exactly right. The correct question is, are there any pictures on the wall? We start with are there because pictures is plural. You guys are getting this. Excellent work. So before we finish, let's just quickly remember our simple rules. For positive sentences, it's there is for one thing and there are for many. For negative sentences, we use isn't or aren't, and often with the word any. And for questions, we just flip the words and start with is there or are there. That's the core of it. Now let's look at just a few final examples that put everything together. Okay, first, a positive sentence. There is a clock above the door. Now a negative one. There isn't a table between the two chairs. And finally, a question with its short answer. Are there any shops near your house? Yes, there are. See how it all comes together so nicely? And now it is your turn. Go on, look around your room right now. Can you make a few sentences? What is there and what isn't there? Try to use those prepositions we learned today. Remember, the absolute best way to learn is to practice, practice, practice. Thank you so much for joining me today.